says we're strong. Hey yo, you have to share the screen on your page. What's up?
I've got a good foundation, cause I came up from the concrete. Not supposed to win by nature, cause I came up from the concrete. There ain't nothing holding me back. You're never gonna push me off track, cause I got a good foundation, cause I came up from the concrete.
I just had to take that moment because I was
Purchase this beat from TrueLifeBeats.com.
It's on my. You gotta share it? I'll send it to you. Guess you won't be prepared though. Lonzo, I just sent it to you again.
I've got a good foundation, cause I came up from the concrete. Not supposed to win by nature, cause I came up from the concrete. There ain't nothing holding me back. You're never gonna push me off track, cause I got a good foundation, cause I came up from the concrete.
I don't like that. They don't give it to us application for the live.
Purchase this beat from TrueLifeBeats.com.
I've got a good foundation, cause I came up from the concrete. Not supposed to win by nature, cause I came up from the concrete. There ain't nothing holding me back. You're never gonna push me off track, cause I got a good foundation, cause I came up from the concrete.
Very proud of myself.
Purchase this beat from
I wouldn't say. I wouldn't. Yo, bro, you already know y'all slum on. Y'all let me in here. You already know you slum. Oh man, 50 grand. What's good with you, Randy?
I've got a good foundation, cause I came up from the concrete. Not supposed to win by nature, cause I came up from the concrete. There ain't nothing holding me back. You're never gonna push me off track, cause I got a good foundation, cause I came up from the concrete.
Folks, we're gonna begin in about 4 minutes, about 4 more minutes, and y'all can show Concrete Comics all the love that you want. Then I need butts and seats. You test this. You test it. You might want to see where you can use it.
Test.
Perfect. Yeah. Like that. You get it.
After
Yeah. You lean into it. So we both.
I've got a good foundation, cause I came up from the concrete. Not supposed to win by nature, cause I came up from the concrete. There ain't nothing holding me back. You're never gonna push me off track, cause I got a good foundation, cause I came up
everybody? How's everybody feeling out the crowd tonight? Wow. I need y'all to do a little bit better than that. It's the last day of Black History Month, so I need a little bit more enthusiasm. I'm saying it's on the leap year. You only see this day once every 4 years. So I need everybody to act like y'all had your morning coffee, your morning book. I'm not. I'm not right now. What I want you to do is put your hands together, show a little love to the illustrious, the beautiful, the melanated, concrete comics. This is look, that's what I love about Black man and how's everybody doing today? My name is King Kurt, live on the front man for our group, which is the head nerds in charge. I have 3 lovely, wonderful queens I'm allowed to introduce themselves. Who wants to go first? Nobody?
I'm going to explain it because I know it comes all weird at first, but Oni is Japanese for demon, and I have this whole demon shit. I wear my horns today, but yeah, and I'm a cosplayer, so.
They're just like packing up. Don't water on everybody over there way out the door. And to the left of us
is my name is Foxy Roxy Cosplay. And I do this with my nails sometimes. But yes, it's nice to meet everybody. And over to the left of me is. What's up, guys? Here at Tech Wonder, the wonderful, melanated, mocha-fied mermaid here.
She's always so extra with it.
First of all, please stop. Somebody be walking around with a candle in the middle of the day.
Whoa! You're right.
So stop. Pause. Thank you. Cosplayer, nerd extraordinaire, mom, and pole dancer sometimes.
That's all on Thursday. We like to call the perennial frontrunners for all your fantastic news, word culture, and pop culture in web show format. A lot of people kind of listen to us for a podcast, which we are not anymore. We're exclusively on all the top channels in the nation: Facebook, Twitch. That's a joke, y'all. It's gonna be that good. Don't worry about it. We'll see if we can get some bugs and brownies. Loosen y'all up. But today we are here to celebrate 1 year of excellence on a day that we feel honored that Koncrete Comics reached out to us and was like, hey, listen, we want to do something special. We survived the whole year because listen, when you open a black business, it's almost like surviving that first year because it get real out here. But those survival skills are definitely embedded into these brothers because you see what flourished out of concrete. That was cool. That was playing on words. That was boss. Hold on, hit the button on. Yeah, give a little bit of respect. So what we wanted to do was, now that you know who we are, we wanted you, the fans, y'all not here to see us, y'all here to talk to the creators of some of the dopest Afro superheroes, because it's easy to say black superheroes, but sometimes you gotta say Afro superheroes because that encompasses more than just saying black. And some of the dopest Afro superheroes I've ever come across, I've met these brothers at a comic book convention solely for creators of color. And don't get me wrong, there were some super dope artists all over the place. And we kind of go from table to table and introduce ourselves. There's the only table that didn't have not their comic book, but had some of the dopest art that stopped me completely in my tracks. I said, wait a minute, hold on, where can I get a book? They was like, slow down and kill it. We're working on it. But until then, we take these posters, take this shirt, and I was like, wait a minute, hold on. Y'all don't even got comic books yet, but you have this dope art. I want to know more about it. And we sat there and brought them in, pulled them in for a whole interview. By the time I got to know their story, I was like, look, the whole world knows what they got going on. right over here. So what we're going to do is we're going to open up the floor right now to you, the fans, to number one, ask them questions, but we're going to also ask them questions so that you can get to know who Koncrete Comics is. Is that all right with y'all? Look, y'all better act like we in church, especially with Oni next to me. Y'all don't hear me. I said, is that all right with y'all? First and foremost, from the farthest end of the table to the closest end of me, could y'all introduce yourselves?
My name is Jamil Lexi. I am the art director of Koncrete Comics. I am the creator of Absolver. And nice to meet you guys.
He all chocolatey and whatnot. Don't blush, man. Look at And next to you.
My name is Lonzo Starr. I'm the creator of Acolyte. I'm the president of Koncrete Comics. And like you said, nice to meet y'all. Thanks for coming out. Most definitely.
Yeah, they showed up and showed out, and here we got standing room only already. And next to Lonzo.
What's up? I'm Onaji Rouse, and I'm coming up here from Atlanta, Georgia. I'm the creator of Odina, and I'm the face.
Say it with your chest. He didn't even hesitate. He was like, I'm from Atlanta, and I'm the face. Get to know me. Each one of these brothers are unique in their own talents, but one of the things that they kind of touched on was they both brought a specific art, a specific superhero to Koncrete Comics. Could each one of you kind of just break down who your character is, what your book is, and the story that you wanted to tell to them, the fans?
Yeah, I'll go first. Absolver is an entity that comes back from the spiritual world, and his purpose is all about vengeance. And a little history behind Absolver is, I was working on him during the whole Trayvon Martin case. I didn't know where I really wanted to go with him. But after that verdict was handed down, I felt vindictive. And of course, I can't go around just acting out on my emotions. So just like poetry and comic books, I said that's what Absolver's purpose is going to be. He's going to be a guy that's able to do things I wish I can do, but he will do it for us. And that's basically what he's about. He was known as a mezzo, because heaven has his angels, hell has his demons, and he's right in the middle. Some people call it limbo, oblivion. So there's spiritual entities are called mezzos, and every mezzo has a purpose. And of course, like I said, Absolver's own is vengeance, not his, but yours. And that's basically Absolver.
And one quick question I had, don't worry about that, Randy. You just put it on the floor. Just don't step on it. I'm looking at you. Why the name Absolver?
Oh, it's funny. At first he was the Vindicator, but I was utilized in Spawn.
So you ain't want to get sued, got it.
Nah,
all right.
But it's like he absolves you of that feeling. In the story, if you have a strong, vindictive feeling, not no petty feeling, like something you're very passionate about, he senses that, and he's bound to handle that for you, whatever it is.
So if I'm feeling petty, he can make me feel better about myself?
No, he doesn't.
I was about to say, because I need that.
He doesn't care about the little stuff, but it's, to him, he doesn't matter. He doesn't care if you're a good person or a bad person. His only purpose is whatever you're feeling. And of course, there's going to be growth throughout the story with that. But he absolves you.
All right.
And that's why I went with Absolver.
All right.
He absolves you of that feeling.
That's dope. We need a little bit of absolving of some vindication, because, listen, I just read somewhere that black people did not build this country out of the goodness of their heart. We haven't burned it down out of the goodness of our heart.
Right.
And sometimes, especially after feeling that way after the Trayvon Martin case, that inspired you. I think a lot of us wanted a little bit of revenge after that. I mean, to this day, you can't see a picture of George Zimmerman on the news and wonder how are you still walking around, bro?
Right.
But that's dope that you kind of had that play in the spiritual and still brought it to life through comics. Why is that important?
society doesn't allow us to tell our stories. And even when we tell our truth, they find a way to flip it. And there's a ton of stories out there that are great, but not relatable. You know, the last slave movie I watched was like 12 Years a Slave. I said I could never do it again. It gave me this hatred. But we never had that humor in the story. It was always somebody else saving us. You know, we never saved us. And that was real important to me, especially with Absolver or any other character I created. You know, Mr. Freeze is cool, the Riddler is cool, Dr. Octavius is cool, but I want to tell the story about how that mother feels when that police officer kills their children. And it's also a way to teach. You know, we talked about comedy and how you could teach people through laughter. Well, it's the same thing you can teach through comics. You can tell your story, you can tell your truths, and the youth will learn from it. You know, we just have to be honest. And, you know, but we put it in an area where they can relate. You know, I'm all about the pro-black movement and everything from Africa, but you know, but you know, I want to see Spider-Man on the wall. I want to see Spider-Man. Tell me through that type of story. Don't be so in your face. And as a 10-year-old, they want to see that. You know, so it's just, you know, and I grew up doing poetry, and that was the easiest way to reach people because they grasp your attention. You know, you grasp their attention when you dealing with people through poetry, and I felt like comic books is a good medium for us to utilize.
All right, so we're gonna move it right on down the line. Lonzo, tell us about the Son of Supreme, the Acolyte.
So, Acolyte is a man who is in search for his true destiny, and his true destiny led him to space, which he wasn't expecting. He didn't plan for this, and that's just kind of like life. You don't plan for what you're gonna be doing. I never planned to be a comic book writer or to be in this room with all these fabulous people, but destiny led me here, and I'm a music producer, and it's funny because music is what led me into falling back in love with my comics, and that's basically what this story represents. It's about understanding your true power and potential inside of you, and not denying where you're destined to go, and embracing it. Often we are afraid of stepping out of ourselves, stepping out of our comfort zone. And this story is basically Acolyte stepping out of his comfort zone. He sees himself as just a regular human, you know, no importance, and then somebody comes and says, you're meant for more than this. And you gotta accept it. He doesn't want to accept it, but he doesn't have a choice. That's his destiny. And that's basically why I created him, and it's kind of based off of me because I felt I was always meant to be more, but I never knew how to do more. So I just do now. I don't even think, I just do, you know. So that's basically what Acolyte is.
And tell me can you guys tell me a little bit more about the art? Like, how did you design this outfit for him? Like, the look of comics is so important, and like, it's the first thing that really draws people in. Like, oh, like, not only is he black, but okay, with your lightning and your blue and your black. Like, how did you pick this outfit, and what about it speaks to you as the creator of this character?
Well, I don't know if y'all noticed, but Acolyte is me. You know? So I first started with this canvas of mine, you know what I'm saying? But I really don't know why I chose blue. It's just because red is my favorite color, but something about blue, it read cosmic to me, you know what I mean? And it just felt right. And I love wearing hoodies. Like I always have on a hoodie. You know, like summertime, I would cut the sleeves off. You know what I mean? Just wear a hoodie. But I kind of. But when I was younger, I was real shy. You know what I mean? And when I put on the hoodie, I kind of feel like I'm in my own space, and I can do my own thing, and not really be outside. So that's kind of what the hoodie represents. So I wanted to put a hoodie on Acolyte because he doesn't like the spotlight. He don't want to be seen, but he is seen. So that's where that design basically came from. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's how we're doing.
Alrighty. So, before we start anything, I need to give a shout out to the nice barista woman who gave me this coffee. Yeah, she asked me how I wanted it and everything, and it came out perfect. I loved it, and it made me jittery. So, I started stammering. That's probably why. Too much caffeine. Sorry.
Sassy's the honest one.
Yeah, that's what I do, honesty. Because if you know what's going on, then you don't have to wonder why. Either which way. So, we have Onaji. I have questions. So in order to get an artist, you have been started from somewhere. What inspired you to want to start art to create Odina?
Black women.
Really?
Just like that.
Yeah.
I like that answer.
Creating Odina was like my love letter to my sisters because at a time, you know, before Black, let me tell you, I've been working on this book for 5 years before it even like come to this moment. And the first 2 books I wrote and created myself, and I like came up with the design, I came up with the concept. I come from a matriarchal family where I got 8 nieces, 2 sisters, aunts, cousins, all that, and you know, and being around Black women, you know, you're gonna get all types of personalities. So you just gotta learn how to roll with it and take it with a grain of salt. But at the same time, you know, that's what makes them them. And you appreciate it. Because if there's one woman who's gonna be in your corner, it's the sister. And
They like that. Look.
when I was creating the character and the art, I actually created the character based off like a hairstyle first.
That's my favorite.
So the hairstyle came from like the singer Fantasia when she had this one like blonde, like black, and I was like, let's go from there, and then let's add some colors and do all this. So I broke it down to like how I created it. So it was like a concept.
That's such a great representation, strong, bold, and beautiful. And thank you for that.
Absolutely.
Can I just say, as the oldest of 10 children, I feel seen. Like I'm the sister.
I saw it too.
Yeah.
I saw. Odina is beautiful. What? You talk about she was donating all this pretty y'all listen to me all the time. Every time I compliment a Black woman, I just think she's pretty. Don't be like that. That's a beautiful queen. I like that it's inspired by your sisters. I'm single.
Thank you.
If you have any single sisters, by all means, I'll be in Atlanta to visit you very shortly.
Well, one of them married, the other one you don't want no parts of.
That's the kind he
I like trouble. Stop telling my business. This is
Get off the mic if you don't want
a
to tell
professional
business.
setting. We are. Stop it.
We are.
I'm gonna turn it over to Roxy because she's got some questions for you guys as well.
All right. So, just a general question for anybody to answer. Were there any difficulties when you were creating the abilities for your characters that you came across that you were creating? That where you were keeping them not having the same similarities as other characters from other universes? Like, what difficulties and challenges did you come across?
Okay, well, I'm gonna answer that with a question. Have you seen other Black Supergirl type characters? Yeah, you don't. You don't see them. I mean, hardly see Black Superman.
I was about to say, we barely see Black super characters, period.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, like, it wasn't so much as difficult as so much as, why can't she have this power? I mean, why limit her? So.
I feel the same way as him. I never seen a Black Superman type character that wasn't a Superman character, that just had a symbol from a different dimension. And also,
Yo, that's real. Say that again. That's very true.
I never seen a Black Superman character that wasn't a rendition of Superman.
Yeah.
So I wanted to make my own, but make him not Superman, but more relatable. And I wanted to give him a power that origin from like the Big Bang. So he has like a crazy lineage that dates back to when we were created, and that's what most of us feel about us melanated people, that we come from the beginning. So I kind of put what I believe into making the accurate.
Creativity is everywhere. There's no way you can come up with an idea and somebody else is not already thinking about it or have done it. you know, the only thing you can do is make it your own. You know, we both can get the same car with the X amount of money to put into it. My Honda's gonna look like my Honda, your Honda's gonna look like your Honda. You know, so it's just about trying to not blatantly copy. So I don't think it's a hard process. For anybody that wants to create a character, you know, when you create it, there's no such thing as a bad idea. You know, just dump everything in there, make it as powerful as you want, and then as you break down the character, you can strip away, add, and then it'll become yours. You know, so it can be original. I mean, you take Ghost Rider and Spawn, they're the exact same foundational story.
Yeah, facts.
But one's on a bike that swings a chain, and one got his chain glued to his hips. You know, so, you know, just make it yours as best as you can, and trust me, you know, you might come with an idea and thinking you're not copying nobody from Marvel and DC, but then somebody's doing it in anime somewhere, so you're like, okay. So just try to make it original as, to you, something you're happy with, and that's all that matters.
Thank you. So this question is for all three of you again. I find that the entomology and the naming of things can be like really potent and meaningful. So how did you come up with the names for your characters, for their identities, and do they have any special significances to you, like outside of the characters?
Like I said, Absolver absolves you of your vengeance. I put everything into this character, all my emotions. You know, that, like I said, I get to live through him in the story I'm telling. You know, being a father, I know how I feel about kids that are hurt and mistreated, kids that are molested, you know, and you will see that in my story. I don't hold back, you know. So Absolver goes at them, you know, and that's the only way I can, you know, that's the only way I can create this story. So he absolves me.
Is that like a way for you to get justice?
Yeah.
In a world that might not give us justice?
Yeah, I do that with my story. Every story I write, that's what I do. That's exactly what I do. I just live through my characters and my stories.
So, those that know me know I'm a God-fearing man, right? When I'm right, you know what I mean?
Right.
So, the name Acolyte, I once had a position in church when I was younger, and I was an acolyte. And the name means light bringer. They kind of set up the ceremony. They're the ones that come out before the pastors, they like the candles and all that stuff like that. So that name always stuck out to me because it was like literally my first job. I was like 6 or 7 years old, and I was an acolyte, and it always grew up with me. So that's where the name comes from. I just twisted it, bended it, made it, you know, cool, and put my own meaning behind it. You know.
Okay, the name Odina is from a Native American tribe. I can't say the name because it's a long name, but it means mountain. And so I gave them the name first because I thought it was cool to start with an O. But then, you know, my name was Ohio, and I was like, this is my baby. And then I looked further into it, and, you know, it means mountain. And for her to be a super powerful character, you know,
She can move mountains, yeah.
you know, so I was like, well,
She really likes O'Gilly.
I mean, God leads you to certain things for a reason. So I was like, well, DNA it is.
Well, beautiful guys, listen, the fact that you have brought together these individual characters in a applied multiverse, if you will, do you ever find that there's any issues trying to overlap each other's stories?
I don't, because we each bring something, like we said, different to the table. Whereas I would say we each cover different spectrums of the superhuman world. You know, my character's more mutant, you know, genetics, and whereas Acolyte's more cosmic, and Absolver's more of the supernatural. So we each got each realm of the world covered. So we come together.
I like the Black Avengers.
Yeah.
You know you from Atlanta if you say Mollywop. He fixing to whoop somebody. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, kind of like what Anaja was saying, you know, each character represents a different section of the universe, and the universe is huge, so right now we have to start from different reasons to give our audience different spectrums of what we're trying to bring into. Like, he represents more of the Earth-based character that's on Earth, dealing with, you know, the government, dealing with stuff that, you know, we see on a regular day. Acolyte brings the cosmos into it, brings the aliens coming to Earth. He brings that type of atmosphere to our storytelling, and he brings the demons, the heaven, the angels into it. You know what I mean? So
Y'all gonna scare that other podcast. They are gonna leave. Y'all, they keep looking. They keep giving us a side eye like y'all started this.
Right. So, you know what I mean? Each character brings a different region of the universe that we want to tell, and that's going to be important. And they're far away from each other right now, but the stories are coming together. But soon you'll be seeing all this come onto Earth, and you'll see the full picture of what we're trying to paint.
Oh, that's it. That's everything.
That's it. They surmised it.
Yes, they did.
All right, beautiful. Listen, if you guys have never seen our live show, we stream on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. And typically, one of the unique things about our show is we have live conversations with our audience while we're on air. Like, as we're talking about topics, we implore the crowd or our viewers who are watching at the time to comment, and we'll stop the show. And if you say a dope comment, we'll talk about it, and we'll address it right then and there. That's kind of what we want to do here, kind of keep that same form, that same open format. So we're about to have a whole blurred conversation. If you don't know what a blurred is, if you take a nerd and a black guy, and well, or a gal, or woman, I'm trying to get my pronouns right. It's tough.
You forgot mine. My pronouns. David.
She's. You keep that pronoun right where it's at.
Wait, no, mer person.
She's a mer person. She's a demon. We just black people. If you want to identify as a chair, that's your business. At this point in the game, I just want to know who is human anymore. I'm gonna get in so much trouble for this live stream. Anyway, so we're about to talk about dope moments, not only in your blurry history, but black comic book characters. There's a movement. Everybody's familiar with Black Lives Matter. Yes or no? Familiar? Well, there's a whole. Sassy said you should be.
Yeah.
If you're not familiar, there is one in pop culture called Black Heroes Matter. And it's a renaissance right now. I don't know if y'all noticed, but we're taking over horror movies. Did anybody see Jordan Peele's new trailer? Look. Christian podcast, y'all over there cheering? I think that was cool.
They are allowed to be multifaceted.
You right, I'm not judging. Listen, I ain't nobody's judge, but as soon as I said, can you? She's like, yeah. Jesus somewhere.
Look, that's your misperception of them.
I go through this every show. This is what they do to me. They all unified. I gotta shut up. Y'all right. Sorry, face. Negro, help me. This is about Koncrete comics. Anyway, hey, fellas. Look, and now he put his whole head down. He was like, I'm so happy everybody came out so that I have witnesses in case I disappear. Look. So what we want to know is from you, the crowd, and we only have 2 mics right now, so feel free to shout it out because you know we know how to raise our voice in small spaces. What I want to know from the crowd is, who is your favorite black heroes that you're reading and ingesting right now in media? Go ahead, think on it. Because there's a few of them out there, right? Look, there's a whole show called Black Lightning. If that ain't the most 70s thing.
Image Comics has a dope character out right now. Story excellence. Definitely pick it up.
I'm not even familiar. No, hit me to the game. So what's it about?
You know what? One thing we missing our quote unquote Harry Potter.
Oh, that is true. Wait. She a whole Harry Potter fan. You about to get that work.
All I'm saying
ain't no black people in Hogwarts?
When it comes to magic and all of that, heavy excellence is perfect for us. We got Black League, Black Story, Black Family in that. It's Image Comics excellence. They're on issue 8 right now, and I've been reading it. It's real dope, and I won't give nothing away. So pick it up while you're in the comic book store.
So wait, because there's a whole black, I think it's a web series about black witches. I meant to put it on the show. I have notes for everything. Like I take notes for every little thing. No, I'm gonna look it up. But there's a series about black witches.
I'm between demons and witches, y'all. This is gonna be a rough show. So, I mean, aside from that, but what about Brother Voodoo? I'm saying if we talk about that would be the Black Harry Potter.
Yeah, but Voodoo always gets this negative,
Facts.
dark. You know, when you study the history of Voodoo, it's not what they make it.
No,
and what's important with excellence is
I like that. No, I'm
created by a black person, written by black, and it's fantasy magic. When I say compared to Harry Potter, but
right.
anytime you got a voodoo story from Marvel and DC, it's always the same.
Demonic. It always like the Princess Fall. You gotta come up from the smoke.
That's because those stories are being written by white people, and what happens when white people get in our business? Bad things. When we tell our
you saw everybody on the panel like.
No. I saw this meme online. It says Candyman, just like most black people, he be minding his business until you put his name in your mouth.
I saw that.
I think it's interesting. Me personally, I don't just say when white. I'd say when we don't tell our stories.
Yeah.
That's it. Because it doesn't matter who's telling the story. It's just not coming from a place of origin of truth. Whereas if you grew up like my family is from the West Indies, so Saturnalia, that voodoo, juju, all of that, a lot of that is superstitious. All right, I see the witches. Don't show it to them. It's all that. Like you said, a lot of that is misconstrued because of folktale.
Yeah.
And a lot of comic book is folktale, right? I mean, think about the things that you've read over the course of time. Superman is nothing more than a play on Hercules.
Right.
And Greek mythology has really permeated its way throughout comic book lore.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't know there are African mythologies.
Yeah.
Like similar.
Mr. Nancy.
Look, well, go ahead, talk about it. No, it's fine.
So one, I did find that it's called Juju. It's a black web series written about black witches by black witches. So if you look it up, it looks really, really cool. Also, like you said, there are like black folk tales like Anansi the Spider, like if you guys watch American Gods, Mr. Nancy. So like that has a whole, and I read those stories as like a child in like elementary school. I didn't realize that was something most people didn't know about. Like, so when I saw it on TV, I was like, oh dope, Anansi the Spider, that's so cool. And other people were like, who's that?
According to the crowd, who was familiar with Mr. Nancy before American Gods? That's not even that's not even what I think I saw about 5 or 6 hands. But if I said who knows about Achilles? No, just give me a show of hands. Have you ever heard about Achilles growing up? Well, one of the reasons is what's taught in our public schools, Greek mythology, and that's one of the things. Do you guys feel like you're setting a new pattern for mythology for the future?
Absolutely.
Yeah, but good. We're freestyling now. We're just with our kinfolk. We're talking.
I'm a firm believer in that. We're pretty much going to educate some masses because in my book, eventually it goes down the timeline. It's going to introduce you to the conductees, which no one knows about the conductees because history doesn't want to teach you that. Like, these are African queens in the Kush kingdom who led armies.
Oh, yeah.
Like, one of them was Queen Amanirede, and she lost her eye fighting the Roman Empire to a standstill. Like, she was a boss. And so a lot of people don't know about this stuff. And so one of my characters in my books is based off that. And so when people be like, what is that? And I'll be like, Queen Amanirede. And they're just like, huh? Like, it's all about what's being taught. And we're not being taught this stuff at all. Like, there's so much African mythology throughout Africa. Yeah.
To be honest, it's about how you tell stories, how you do your storytelling, because even in my book, I break down a lot of science, but I do it in a way where you're just reading a good story, but then when you think about it, like, I learned about, how time travel works in space and all that stuff like that, but I'm not forcing it down your throat, so if a kid's reading my book, he's just gonna read, and then out of nowhere, he's gonna hear something on TV like, I learned about that reading a book, reading a comic book. So, it's more about how you tell your message without throwing it in their face. It's just about
subtlety.
Easing it in there and subliminally putting it in there where they're reading it and learning about themselves without being told, hey, read this so you can know What's your history?
Actually, that's kind of dope because who here honestly learned how to read through comic books? I'm not ashamed because I wouldn't look. It was the Bible and comic books. That's all I was allowed to. That's how I understand y'all. That's why I'm scared for my parents. Well, what about you?
You got to create questions for people that want to go searching, because most people, they will learn to search.
You're dropping gems over there, boy. You got like 4 quotables in like the last 10 minutes.
I mean, you know, we're lazy. Surface, right? Not everybody.
You saw me look at you as like, you gonna do this on the last day of Black History Month.
Yes, I am lazy.
No, but you know, a lot of people, we're willing to accept what we see and hear, and that's it. Even just by reading. You know, you got to create questions. Anaji just made me want to go research.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, yeah.
And I want to go research now. You know, so we have to create questions where people want to go dig, because when you actually dig, you retain more, and then you can pass it on better. And we stop learning, we stop retaining things. So nobody's creating questions for us to try to answer ourselves. We go look at. I transitioned from encyclopedia to Google. So my father had us go to encyclopedia.
Oh, listen, I had the Britannica at the crib.
Exactly, you know, so.
Who had the Britannicas back on the shelf? When you ain't know something, you had to do a report, go get that book. You had the J through K, and then they had all the letters. So if you had Aardvark, you was cool, because the first 3 volumes you got for free. But if you had like gargantuans or whatever, look, you got to go to the library for that one. We don't have the G through F. So.
Yeah, so I mean, that's just all it is. You know, creating questions so people go look for answers, but do it in a way where people want to learn. And that's it. You know, nobody's creating the learning process anymore. It's all about just do it, get by, pass. That's it. You're on your way. And then, you know, you're not taught how to utilize what you learn anyway. And this is why now kids are growing up without having nothing to hold on to, because their own parents don't know how to teach them. Because our generation is relying on the school system to do everything. You know, I didn't have, my father wasn't like that. So I'm not going to pass it down to my son like that. But I'm sorry for everybody else that doesn't do that, so I'm trying to say. So, you know, you got to create questions from people that want to answer, people that want to learn. And that's it.
Yeah, and utilize your platform to be able to decipher those questions. Speaking of questions, if y'all have any, feel free. Just stand up, raise your hand, and we'll call on you if you got any questions, comments. If not, we'll just keep rambling and talk, because I can talk to them all day about this.
So back to what you said, like, I named my son Hannibal. And everyone was like, Hannibal Lecter? And I was like, no, dumb. King Hannibal. And like, from Carthage. It's so funny because, like, people were like, oh, that doesn't sound like a real thing. I was like, what are you talking about? He kept Alexander out of North Africa for like 50 years. And these same people came back, and my son was like 2. Now they think they're so hip. They're sharing Hannibal articles on my Facebook now. They're like, oh yeah, nephew, you come from like all this great shit. I'm like, yeah, he knows, because I taught him. Get out of my face.
Kind of also like Jesus, or like with the whole thing about him as being, you know, this beautiful white man with blue eyes and the horn head walking.
Y'all real. All right, close the door. Somebody close the door. Start checking on folks before the government get up there.
No, when they did the genetic profile from the shroud that supposedly his body was wrapped in, and they came up with the genetic profile, people were mad because he looked like a dark-skinned Jew. And I was like, that's what they look like over there.
And I think that's imagery. When you start talking about imagery and what's presented to the world, a lot of times that's what becomes law. Because just recently, every Egyptian king and queen that you ever see in the movies don't look like us, even though they're in the same place that looks like us. And that's the image that we go with. That's why characters like Acolyte, characters like Absolver, characters like Odina, though they're necessary in this medium, in this culture now. Not just because of their skin color, but the way that they behave, because they're fallible. these are characters with flaws. You know, we always talk about Black Girl Magic, which y'all are magical and phenomenal, but we're still human beings.
Right.
Where do you see where you place the humanity into your characters? Why is that important?
I think that's on the challenge of them accepting what they need to do. You know, because we all have fears of stepping up to the plate, not knowing if we are capable of handling that. So I think that's where the true story gets relatable, is when you see yourself in the character. You're like, yeah, I don't know what I would do in that situation. I'm gonna read and see how he get through it. It might help that person with a challenge that they're going through. You know what I mean? Like if they're worried about trying out for a football team or something like that, don't worry about it, just do it. You know, whatever happens, you just gotta do it. That's what destiny was, you know? So yeah, that's pretty much what happened.
Again, Absolver just represents that feeling you all feel. You know, the one thing most people like about Spider-Man is the relatability factor. You know, being a teenager with choices. It's more about this teenager, this man that has choices that he got to make. Relationship, his real life, his job, and being a superhero. You deal with kids, home, wife, husband, friend. You know, we got to be dealing with issues.
We still got to pay bills.
Yeah. You know, it's the relatability factor. You know, and as long as I personally feel as long as your characters are relatable and people can, draw the parallel between everything, I feel like that helps. And that really helps with the character and stuff like that. And like I said, Absolver has always been representing how we feel, the dark side. I don't care how good you are, you have that feeling in you. You may not act on it. You may know how to quickly put it aside, but that's how you feel initially when you hear this or you heard that or you saw that. I know how I felt when I turned on the internet the other day and like 3 policemen was just beating up on this black guy. I felt angry.
Right.
If I was there at that moment, I don't know how I would react. You understand what I'm saying? So
that's dope. That's the way of looking at it, because there's a stereotype of, and it's always a stereotype of angry black man or angry black woman. But they don't know how angry we really be, and how much we repress on a daily basis just to be able to survive in this system and in this society. So honestly, we ain't as angry as you think we could be. And a lot of times, I think that point, that repression, that outlet, that's the reason why we read comic books. We read comic books as an outlet into a world that we wish we could live in. We wish there was a vindicator to come in and set right the things that have been wrong. Because we don't see it or we don't experience it here in our daily lives. It's a wonderful escape into a utopia that suits us. Kind of like food for us bodies.
For again, I think it's something we all relate to as far as realizing our full potential. We're not accepting our gifts that God has bestowed upon us. Oftentimes, I think when somebody said this one time, is that we're born with our gifts. It's already in us when we're born. We just have to cultivate it. And sometimes we don't do it. We just go about the day not even accepting and being aligned with what we truly are possible of even doing. So we don't do it. We get lackluster and we get lazy. But whereas in this, you start doing what you're supposed to do, you start realizing that your potential, you are dangerous.
I think one of the amazing things about Black comics, especially when most of us are reading them, is that there are a lot of different circumstances in them that we can relate to, that we can apply to our own personal life, even if it is something that's outrageous, that we don't have, like magical
powers and things like that. There is something in there that we can take from it and see how we can actually find our own personal way to change the world. So there is a level of encouragement there, and and in some cases comic books have saved many people's lives. When you hear about like Wonder Woman's and all like that, of course a lot of us can pick up a TV and not TV but a car and throw it on somebody, but we do have strengths in different ways, and a lot of us may be single parents and all those different things. So it is a remarkable thing when you have Black comics that we could actually look at and say and see ourselves and go, wow, yeah, okay, I can do that. So yeah, it's a truth.
So you know what I thought while you was talking about Spider-Man, I was thinking about how relatable he is, and I think Spider-Man
Which
and
one?
Tony Starks are like the only
Which Spider-Man? Because
Peter Parker.
All right, 'cause you got to say it for the new generation now, because all they know is Miles.
So Peter Parker and I'll say Tony Stark's are the only superheroes I know that pay bills. Like Spider-Man got to pay rent. He's out there trying to.
He do be haggling with Jonah Jameson like, bruh, look, I can't give you no deal this week.
He's literally struggling to just put food on his plate, and he's really like the only superhero I can remember that actually pays bills in comic books. You know what I'm saying? So.
Now, I just kind of want to ask the crowd real quick, because they talked about superpowers within us as human beings, and I think it's a good thing to kind of directly ask people, what's your superpower? You have a talent, and every time we see a comic book, it's just an exaggeration of a natural talent within that we all kind of have. So if you're in the crowd, shout out your superpower. What's your superpower? We got all these creatives and these artists. I know somebody got a superpower out there. Don't be shy. Come on, what's your superpower?
Going through U.S. migration.
Well, you're the most powerful person in this administration. He said, I beat Donald Trump. Eyes here now. I don't know why he talked like that, but he here now. Is there any other superpowers in the crowd?
Being a mom.
Child. Here, somebody give him my crown. Listen, you raised children. I ain't got none. God bless the both of you. You did good, Hanzo. What's your superpower?
First generation comic book artist has a daughter. He's got second generation.
Oh, say it with your chest now. He said, I'm building lineage. I know that's right. Is there any other superpowers? I look now. It's all this beautiful melanin out here. I know somebody got a superpower.
I'll rap your favorite rapper.
Say it again loud, Andy.
I'll rap your favorite rapper and your favorite rapper. Unless the black boy, that'd be great.
You better put respect on Black Thought name. But that's Randy. If y'all don't know, he is one of the best hip hop artists. He has a group called Gangsta Grass, and if you get a chance, they do. It's real quick. I just want to shout Randy out because he adds hip hop and folk music. It shouldn't work, but it does. It totally does. And it's yeah. Gangsta Grass. If you get a chance, go check him out. He's always here in the Malcolm Comics. Is there any other superheroes out in the crowd with a superpower that they want to talk about? I saw a hand over in the corner. Don't try to act like you didn't put your hand up. I saw your hand.
I'm thinking. I don't know, but I would like to mind reading.
No. We do not need any women with that power. I don't need that problem. Hey, baby, how you doing? Nah. I see it on you. You ain't with God. Is there any other superpowers out in the crowd that want to talk about? So come on, don't cut your eye. I know you got a superpower. Even if you got that late, that means you fashionably sound. That's a superpower. Come on, talk to me. What's your superpower, brother?
I can speak for everybody here. Like, it doesn't have to be something, supernatural.
Thank you.
Like I think my superpower is poetry. I write poetry, and I get random DMs all the time. Like, thank you for writing this. Like, I can relate to this experience about love or heartbreak or something stupid that happened in the past. Not that it only happened to me in America.
Right.
And something like, yo, the same thing happened to me, or something like that. This is what my people are just reaching out to people that I don't really know.
Fact. Healing through spoken word is a superpower all the way around. Don't get it twisted. Listen, that's why I listen to hip hop when I'm feeling down.
So I think my superpower would be seeing other people's potential and helping them maximize it.
So you like Charles Xavier this thing. More hair. You're beautiful and curly. I hate you. What about you?
Honestly, if I want to learn how to do something, I learn it. That's just what I do.
So you like Meteor Man. Remember Meteor Man? He could put his hand on the book and learn it in 30 seconds or less?
You can ask Lonzo. I was chasing this one guy to do a commission job for me for months. And he never responded. He would see it, but never respond. So I'm like, okay. I just looked at his pictures. I was like, I could do this. Drew it, shared it with him, and it's just like, I'm like, I can do myself now. I don't need him. And that's just what it is.
No, that's dope, brother, because listen, if they ain't going to do it for you, you got to do it for yourself. And what about? Come on now, look.
My superpower would probably have to be you know what? I'm gonna be honest with you. It'll probably be what'd you say? Talking smack. Probably be service, because I'm definitely a person who loves to support people, and in this world you gotta learn to be a servant before you do anything else. And like these guys will tell you, like if they need me to do anything, let me know. Like, and just come being genuine. You know, that's my superpower, because you don't have a lot of that in the world.
Yeah, there's
and
enough
right
fakes in the world.
Yeah, and we got to get back to it what matters, and that's the love of our people. So.
You took my superpower.
You took your superpower. That's all right. Look, he's just Marvel. You can be DC. What's your superpower? You shoot some shadow. See, I like the Wonder Twins. All right, there you go. The Wonder Bros. Yeah. We'll work it. Listen, I'll find a comic book application. We ain't got that problem. Before we move on to our final segment, is there any more superpowers in the crowd? Because I want to get an opportunity.
I'll do one.
We know it's Jesus. We can keep it. I'm just joking. Go. What's your superpower?
I think just the ability to be like an encourager and to feel, I guess what people are going through, like an impact.
Ooh, those are the toughest ones in comic books.
I think that's needed. We don't see a lot of that in today's world. People need encouragement. They need to feel love. They need a little push. So I think that it's needed, and we need more of it.
Yes. Thank you for saying it, because I say that every day, all the time. Super empath every day. It doesn't matter what's going on. I work in a clinic, and that's the one thing that people always mention is that no matter what's going on and how many people come in and curse you out, you always stay so nice. How do you do it? Because those people coming in deserve good service. They don't deserve to deal with like attitudes just because it's in the hood. Like, you could get good customer service in the hood as long as you have a good person to do it, and that's me.
See, she ain't so demonic after all.
It's just for the cover up for some of my slip-ups when I had my moments.
So now y'all know what it's hitting for. What about you, Roxy? What's your superpower?
I'm actually the same way, because I work in healthcare as well, and yes, and I'm always getting either chewed out because I can't get somebody an appointment right away, but I work very hard to try to accommodate, and I'm very patient with people, and you know, a lot of times people are going through things for the very first time, which you might have heard about 1,000 times, and some people can, you know, desensitize themselves easily, especially doctors, you know. But for myself, it's like, okay, you know, you're hearing that you heard they found a lump in your breast. Let's get you scheduled. Let's do such and such. And I might have heard about that lump 1,000,000 times, but it's their first time, and I keep that in mind. So yeah.
What about you, Ty?
Putting up with you.
Let's wrap this up.
I think being really patient. And then also, I tend to explain things, like difficult concepts, really simply. I used to do home health, where I worked with like elderly people. I also worked in healthcare. I do tech support now, and people just do not understand how stuff comes together and how stuff is supposed to work.
You see the tech geeks on the corner.
Yes. So me being able to explain, like, okay, yes, if you just do this one thing, like this one thing makes this difference, and this is how it works over how the way you were doing it, why it didn't work that way. And people have just been like, you are so kind. Like, I'm not technically inclined at all. Thank you for being so patient. I work primarily like with old people, so they just, half of them don't want to learn, and the other ones just like, I feel like I can't get it. But when you talk, and you don't make me feel bad for not understanding, and you actually explained it in a way that made sense for the first time ever.
Yes, this is true. You do that for me all the time.
And I think my superpower is the fact that I'm black. No, that's it, and that's as simple as I can make it. Genetically, melanin makes you genetically superior for the absorption of the sun. So naturally, the more melanin you have, the better you are as in your human physiology. So just the fact of having that heritage, that culture, that pride in ourselves, that's something that did not come through our lineage because we were constantly told that we were less than. So now that's one of the reasons why I wear a crown on my head. I am not that cocky. But how many times have you ever seen a black man wear a crown? This is probably your first time. If it ain't Biggie Smalls, you know, the 90s was a good time, baby. 90s was a beautiful time.
I think one thing that the message of Koncrete, as well as Amalgam, as well as everyone of color in this crowd and throughout, is perseverance. Because, I mean, look where we are, look what we're doing, look what we're celebrating. Being that it's the 29th of February 2020, we got here.
Barely.
And it might be barely, but it's perseverance.
Right.
So I think that's the biggest message that I think.
That's the key takeaway. Honestly, just like she said, here you have one of the first of its kind, which is Amalgam Comics. And if you don't know the history of Amalgam Comics, this is now your black nerd mecca. Like, you come into the city, you come pay homage. You come stop by, you come and support. You make sure that you don't leave this place without supporting it. Not only with love and social media, but with finances. To keep the lights on. Because one of the first things I said to Alonzo was like, Kurt, here, you can take this shirt. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to buy your shirt. You know why? Because though I want to give you you're going to get my support regardless, I also know you need to be able to pay for these issues.
Yeah.
So I'd rather buy and support him with my dollars because I give plenty to Marvel and DC.
Yes.
And that's the same thing we do here. That's one of the reasons why when he told me this is where he was going to have it, that's the one place in Philadelphia you need to have it. Now you have a black-owned comic book company creating black superheroes, telling black stories, and giving it our story to us from our perspective. And we have the benefit of being a black nerd group hosting and celebrating this with you people, all you wonderful chocolate folk. Listen, everybody give themselves a round of applause real quick. Now, with all these black folks, you know we gotta give away some free stuff, right? But we ain't gonna give it away. You gotta work for it. So what I need right now is, we have a thing that we do on the show we call Beat the Blurred. One of the dope things about Beat the Blurred is we take one blurred and we're gonna pick on Koncrete Comics. They didn't even know I was gonna do this to them. They're in trouble right now. They're in big trouble. And hopefully you just as good as your fans are. I need 2 volunteers from the crowd. Can I get 2 volunteers from the crowd? Don't be afraid. All right, I got 1. Come on up. I'm gonna pick on Lonzo. Look, you the front man, Lonzo. Come on.
I'm ready.
I know Najee the face, but come on, front man. Stand up. Get the middle. And I need 1 more person from the crowd. Come on, y'all can't be shy. I need just 1. I'm about to give away free stuff, and y'all don't know. Look, no, you don't get to play. You next. Don't worry about it. Look, come on now. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Let me get. Here, pass these buzzers down. No. Each one of you get a buzzer.
Okay, let's get a buzzer.
Yep. All right, what I want you to do is quickly, I want to make sure, because I don't want nobody to say we cheating, I want you to press your buzzer to make sure it works. All right, everybody knows their sound. You're super cool. You're good. Y'all ready? All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to ask you a trivia question. Whoever buzzes in first has the first opportunity to answer the question. Now, if you answer wrong, that means you got to step out of the way. But don't blurt out the answer, because then y'all don't have an opportunity to answer the next question. All right? Whoever answers the question correctly gets a prize. Not you, Lonzo. This is your event. Get out of here. So I'm going to pass it over to the ladies, and they're going to ask you the question. Buzz in when you know the answer.
All right, this is going to be real easy.
You pick on your questions? Or?
Yeah. All right. Where's Superman from?
No. Yeah, you ain't quick with it, Lonzo. No, it definitely wasn't you. Oh, you trying to go? Ooh, you shady. That ain't Koncrete.
It was. I'll give it to him.
You'll give it to him? Yeah, she's a gracious woman. Go ahead, Lonzo.
Metropolis.
We talking Superman?
No, stop. Don't y'all say a word. Wait, don't y'all say a word. Wrong. ought to be shaming yourself. That's all right. Hold on. Y'all both have an opportunity to steal, and y'all can buzz in at the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Where's Superman from? Hey! You get a Handlers in Charge t-shirt. Open that up, make sure you show everybody. I'm spreading the positive message. Thank y'all. All right, I need 3 more volunteers. You must come on up. All right, I got one. He said, "Oh, black men don't cheat. I want that shirt." He said, "I want that shirt." I need one more volunteer from the crowd. I need one more. Come on, don't be scared, y'all. I need one volunteer. Look, I'm not going to. Don't make me come point you out. All right, here we go. Come on, hey, we in there. All right, Teffy has a question for you. Buzz in when she asks the question. Hold on, wait. Hey, y'all ready? See, he cheating. He always. That ain't absolving.
You don't get that shirt.
Bye. All right. What is the longest running sci-fi show of all time?
Woo! Y'all quick with the hands.
Doctor Who.
You know what? I don't feel right giving you no prize.
I can take it.
You can take it forward. Give it to your show. Give it back on for real, bro. It's your thing. Get out of here. That just means you dope. Come on, imagine. Hey, bro.
I'm about to say Dr. Manhattan.
Well, I'm glad you said that. I looked at you side eye. I need just 2 more folks. Come on. Just 2 more folks. Can I get 2 more folks? 2 more. All right, I got one. All right, I got one. Can I get a 2? Can I get a 2? Can I get a 2? Can I look at 2? Look at 2. The Jesus over on the left want to do 2. No, Jesus on the right. No, Jesus on the right. All right, how about you? All right, come on. Immigration. I got immigration going once. Immigration going twice. All right, Jesus for the win. All right. It doesn't matter. You know God, right? He'll give you the answer. God'll give you all the answers. Y'all don't know that? Y'all don't believe in Jesus? He ain't gonna give you all the answers.
All right. She was created on an island made out of clay.
Oh!
Wonder Woman.
No.
Oh!
Okay, let me finish.
All right.
And she changed her name to Wonder Woman. What was her original name?
Oh, I know.
Hold on. Nobody.
Somebody.
Hold, you out here cheating.
Yo, somebody question.
You could go ahead and ask her. Black woman magic. Get together. All right, I got a buzzer. What you got?
We ain't gonna say Diane.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. There you go, good brother. I'm sure y'all should work that out quickly.
Technically, I still won, but
You see that? You see how he tried to finesse a win out of this? Listen, y'all, we're gonna wrap up so that y'all have an opportunity. I know it's the same. I know y'all don't want it to end, but we got to give these dope fans an opportunity to once again get your comic book signed, get a chance, the opportunity to talk to Koncrete Comics. You're here for about another half an hour, right, fellas? So you got about 30 minutes to enjoy dope black excellence on a leap year. Only happens once every 4 years, so that means you got to come back in 4 years, turn up again, just like this, make it even bigger and better. Malcolm's Comics should triple. We're going to own the block by the end of this time. So we're going to definitely have a celebration of your excellence. Congratulations, gentlemen. I know from each one of the ladies, I'm going to get them an opportunity to say something to you.
So thank you again for giving us the honor and the privilege to be here with you guys, sharing in this excellent day. I'm not going to lie to you, this morning I was like, oh my God, I get up at 6 o'clock in the morning all week, but I'm here and I'm enjoying myself thoroughly. So thank you.
Yeah, don't do no more shows at 10 o'clock.
Thank you so much for coming. We appreciate all the advice, your beautiful artwork, and I wish you the best on everything that you're going to do in the future. Thank you.
Like I said, when we met you guys last year, I was like, oh, that's so cool. I wonder why they don't have any books. And look at you now, like a whole, like less than a year later. And I want to thank you for giving us the opportunity, because we love to have black creatives like on our show and on our platform. And it was cool to have a black creative turn around and give us an opportunity to come out and just do our thing like in your space with your time. So we really do appreciate that from the bottom of our hearts.
And for y'all, listen, if anybody in the crowd wants to come up on the mic and say your piece, this is the time to do it. So feel free. If you want to come up to the mic, just come on up to the table. Otherwise, Hannibal said, I want to say something. Come on up. Go ahead. No, come on. You grab the mic. Don't be nervous.
It's going to be a tough one. Superheroes, right? Like, was it difficult? Do your characters have a weakness, or like was it difficult coming up with a weakness? Did you feel like kind of like with Absolver, like I could relate to that, like he absolves people of like their whatever vengeance, and then he exact that vengeance based on their feelings. So like, did you feel like that's kind of like his weakness in a way? All three of you could go with it. Yeah, I just definitely wanted to know about Absolver too.
To be honest with you, no, it wasn't, because when you look at her, regardless of how powerful she is, she's still a human being. She's still gonna have her ups, her downs, her bad days, her good days. So,
You got the mic?
Our main enemy.
No, y'all got the mic? Is there? Oh, here you go. Yeah, give him that mic. I'm sorry. No, you good brother. Just give him a mic so everybody can hear.
Okay.
There you go.
So, but no, it wasn't hard coming up with a weakness for her, because like I said, for all of us, our main weakness is ourselves. So as a superhero, no matter how powerful you are going to be your ultimate, restrainer. So.
Yeah, it's true. Most of the time, your biggest enemy is usually you. You know what I mean? So basically, it's more so what the story entails and what the story I'm trying to bring. That's how I plan what his issues are going to be and what he's going to face. And sometimes it just arises by what's in the story. So something I'm not planning for, now I got to plan how he defeats this. And that's what makes the writing fun, you know what I'm saying?
I think the greatest Superman story that was told was the Man of Steel, because prior to that movie, Superman is all-powerful character, but what he did was gave him the human factor, and that was his weakness. So when I created Absolver, I didn't care how powerful he was. If he was like a level 10 across the board, his weakness is going to be the opposite of that. And the human factor is embedded in him, because right now he's just an animal, a wild animal. And then, when that human factor starts to kick in, that'll become his weakness. If you're thinking about creating a superhero, I would just say try to avoid the kryptonite problem. Everything is, no matter what, kryptonite. No matter what, kryptonite. No matter what, kryptonite. That was a problem for a long time. So, story complexes, if done right, can be a real good tool to utilize. It doesn't have to be a weakness. It could just be a choice. It could be a situation. It could be anything. Like I said, when you make your character relatable, that also helps as well.
Thank you.
And I think we got time for one more question. Then we'll be able to close out. If not, is there any more questions? By all means, come on down. Come on down. Oh, you just like the real Jones. You take it forever. Hold on, I got you.
I just wanted to say that I'm proud of my husband. And
is that bad?
Yes.
That's
I'm very proud. I've seen them behind the scenes, planning, working, constant. And he motivates me to do better and to do more for myself and for my business, Chaotic Cocoa.
I know that's right. You better plug it.
Yeah, so I kind of do some of the designs behind Koncrete as well. So I'm just excited to see where you guys go. I'm proud. I love all of the characters. I'm not a blurred, but he's teaching me.
Welcome to the family.
I'm going to the crew and get my knowledge up.
So, I guess just for me personally, I would address you first, but I honestly have to address those that support you before I even talk to you, because without them, there is no you. I watched Lonzo. You met me. I was down in Atlantic City, and we were doing an event down in AC, and I said, Lonzo, I got a table for you. All you gotta do is show up. He showed up. Him and his wife. They set up, got their stuff together in record time. They was there before us. We wake up late. Got him all situated, but I knew that was a testament to the grind and the hustle of his family. See, you can't do that. You can't jump up and go to Atlantic City and spend the day there for the hustle, for the cause, for what you're building, unless you have somebody supporting you. Especially not in AC. She was like, I'm going with you. But I love that, because everybody wants to create, everybody wants to build, but if you don't have the infrastructure in place, you see all these Concrete Comic shirts. Those are people who are supporting them, whether they're directly a part of Concrete Comics or supporting you monetarily by buying your book, or supporting your creativity by just loving your work. So to each and every one of you here, you are supporters. So we say thank you first to y'all, and give yourselves a round of applause. To you three brothers, I don't have to be long-winded with it. I'm gonna just say, at the end of the day, we need more dope black stories. Continue on this path. I plan to see you in another year, and hopefully by that time we'll be talking movie deals, because I'm gonna play Acolyte. I'm putting my bid in right now. I'm just saying, all I need is a tummy tuck. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Get this tire on the left side down. Look, we got this. We shade the side of here. You be Odina. I'm just saying.
You want to do your own stuff?
No, I'm not doing no stuff.
Actually, I'm trying to come up with a proof of concept right now for it. So, live version. It's going to be I can't say short film.
Okay.
But the proof of concept is more marketable.
Y'all already working on stuff.
Oh, I already got actresses auditioning.
Yeah. See, that's why he said, I'm the face.
Yeah, so I had a script written out, everything. I got a director, I got a producer, and...
So you ready?
Oh, no, we don't play in Atlanta. But you know, right now, it's...
And can I speak to, and this is how, my city, Philadelphia, and the tri-state area. You go down to Atlanta, I performed in Atlanta, I've been a comedian almost 10 years of my life. There is no support like how the South supports. But today is testament that we can support in our own city. Look how many faces have come through here. This needs to be, if you want to see more stories like this, if you want to see more people who look like us in the culture, we got to come to these events. We have to come and support it, even in not only in name, but of course with our dollars. And if you don't do anything, you should be hashtagging on your social media Concrete Comics. You should be tagging them. You should be taking pictures of the day, just so people who didn't come, you missed a dope event. Right. And that's one of the things. They need to know where. Do you know there are people in this city who still don't know where Amalgam Comics is? Makes absolutely no sense. None. Because we're the first ones to complain about we don't see ourselves in culture. And that's not just black people. That's my Afro-Latinos. That's my Latinos. That's Latinx. That's Asian. There's a lack of representation of people of color. So when we come together cumulatively to come and celebrate not only their first year anniversary, but to celebrate the idea and the concept of more influence in the culture that we put our dollars into. $1 billion in the industry, and we not getting the product that look like us. Come on, y'all. So now you have Absolver, you have Acolyte, you have Odin, which is, by the way, one of my favorites, because, like I said, I'm single, and if one of your sisters, we'll talk after the show. We are the head nerds in charge. We thank y'all for coming out. Once again, go up, get your books on. Go ahead. Neil, you have one?
There's two things.
No, go ahead. Do your thing, bro.
To piggyback off of what Kurt said, you know, a while back I tried this experiment. I said it to my friend, but then I didn't without trying. I just turned on the TV and randomly flipped through the channel just to see how often I would pop up. It's rare. You know, 20 channels, you will probably randomly see us 2 times. And of course, a lot of that's changed now due to pandering. That's how I feel.
That's true.
And even when you come to the comic book store, just look. barely see us. You know, it's money is a benefit, but like I said, we have kids. You know, what are they gonna see tomorrow? What am I leaving behind? And that is the most important reason for me doing these comics. You know, it takes a lot of money, and I don't even care about the money. I trust me, I like nice things. You know, I want nice things, but the ultimate goal is that passion for us. And you know, and we have to create a system where we understand what support is. And when people hear that word support, especially our people, they automatically think money. You may not even like comics, but you know somebody that does. You know? You may not want to show up to the event, but you know somebody that can. You know, and these are the things that we have to do. You know, on the news, there was this place that was shutting down. All these white people got together, had a little meeting, and then threw a breakfast just to help it stay alive. But can we do that for each other? You know, and that is what it is. It ain't about, I tell these guys all the time, it ain't about Absolver, it ain't about Acolyte, it ain't about Adina, it's about Onaji, it's about Lonzo, and it's about myself. These are the most important characters out here. Because when I'm dead and gone, I want my son or somebody to take it over and continue pushing that message. You know, we have nothing for us. And almost every platform out there, we have to chase behind somebody, beg somebody, steal to be on somebody's platform, because we have nothing for ourselves.
Wow.
So if there's anything that's important, it's not about the books. You know, it's the books is the machine, it's the ride. The purpose is, what are we leaving behind tomorrow for our people? Legacy. You know, that legacy, that foundation. And that's why, you know, as simple as the name Koncrete Comics is, it has a lot of meaning behind it. It's real powerful. It's a foundation. And that's what it is, especially for me. I'm not going to speak for them, but for me, that's what it is. And I don't want to drag it out too long. I just want to give 2 quick shout-outs to our editor.
You can't have a function without a shout-out.
To my editor, Daniel, creator of Andy Starboy. We'll be seeing a lot from Andy Starboy soon, another mythos to tell, another story, which is dope. And a new character that's coming soon from Mr. Joseph Street. Raise your hand.
Hey! You had all these superpowers they ain't talk about in here.
I don't know why they stay quiet.
Yeah, you got a Trump killer and everything.
And that's it, guys. You know, love you guys. I appreciate everybody that came out. And thank you. I really, really appreciate it. And I didn't cry.
Because I would have turned you into a meme. Listen, y'all,
we are currently streaming this out to our 50,000 fans across the internet. Everybody wave to the camera. Say hello to everybody. Everybody had a great time. Listen, we're getting ready to get up out of here. But once again, thank you to Koncrete Comics. Thank you to Amalgam for being able to host us. Amalgam, you want to say something?
I just wanted to really give a huge thank you to everybody that came out. Like, we are truly humbled by this. You know, last year, like Kurt said, we didn't have no books out. All we had were posters. And we grinded. We got to a point where we're doing a book signing at, you know, one of the meccas for black entertainment in the comic book medium. So, and you guys all came out and made this very special for us. And, you know, it's a testament to the grind. As my good friend Naeem always says to me, tapping into the hustle spirit, you know, and really just keeping our head down and staying motivated amongst all the obstacles that come in our way that can definitely derail you, you know. So I just want to give y'all a big shout out, and y'all give yourselves a big round of applause. I want to give a huge shout out to Misperceptions Podcast coming out. From all the way down here from Jersey. And Head Nerds and last but not least, they came through, they hosted the event, made this a real fun time for us, and I want to shout out y'all for always believing us since day one. Y'all been rocking the shirts on the show, I see it, I be hype.
We keep it all the way concrete.
All the way concrete, so yeah, shout out to y'all for keeping it all the way concrete for us, right?
All right.
And after you look, you might as well round this out, bro, and then I'm gonna take it home.
Oh, do I get a shot? I didn't
You
get
go ahead, you look.
Everybody else, all my people out there.
I just want to give all praise to God.
But no, like for real, like to quote the great, Philadelphia's Jill Scott, a revolution has to start in the dark. And I'm up in Philly. I'm glad to be up here. I've always wanted to come to Philadelphia. So to come here at this moment and to come to Amalgam Comics for this actual event on the 29th day of Black History is like, I had an epiphany yesterday. I was like, yo, this is some shit. I just thank everybody for coming out and being here with us, and to my brothers for rocking with me, to my people in front, to you guys, because I'm gonna tell you right now, they don't know it yet, but wherever I go, they're gonna be right there. They just don't know it, so I'm taking them with me. So that's how you do family. You throw the rope back and you bring them with you.
I know that's right.
That's how we gotta do. So
make sure that rope long enough to reach over here. So we
I got you.
Listen, I'm trying to be on the concrete track. Listen, y'all. Thank you all again, once again, for coming out. Everybody, give a round of applause. And since it is your birthday, for those that are going out on the stream, y'all already know the words to Stevie Wonder's "Happy Birthday." But for everybody in here, please, all these black folk, I know y'all better know the words. Don't embarrass us on the stream. I want y'all to sing Stevie Wonder's, I ain't gotta say Stevie, the black version of Happy Birthday to Koncrete Comics. We get ready to get up out of here, head, nerves, and tribes. Take us away, crowd.
Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday, happy birthday.
That's it, just keep doing that over and over again. That's it.